4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglautsch for the WDMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Okay, a lot of fun things on the plate today. First, I'd like to talk about a big opportunity for you marketers out there. Digit A has an article basically saying that cannabis is sexy. Marketers are ditching traditional companies for the weed industry. I'm thinking you should do your marketing plan before you dive into that. My guess is, I know at Miller Brewing they have like after every shift you can go have a couple of beers and you get a case of beer every week. I don't know what they'll do in the cannabis industry, but probably, and that stuff kind of carries over. Having a little bit of more than a little bit. I went to the University of Wisconsin in the 70s. What did we didn't know. Anyway, but I can tell you that my grades went up a lot when I got off of those things and got saved. Anyway, but what this is saying is, a year ago you would have had to leave your cushy executive compensation. What marketer has a cushy executive compensation? Anyway, and now they're actually getting funding. So people are leaving Nike and Procter and Gamble and Coca-Cola and going into the cannabis industry, and it's just having a lot of fun. Okay, so I wanted to get to this article, which is really better, and it's by Nick Godfrey, and it's really good. It attacks some of the same issues that I keep harping on, which is that algorithms have been around forever. There's nothing new about mathematics, right? I mean, it's thousands of years we've been playing with mathematics, and we've realized that we can kind of replicate the world. I mean, some things are intuitively the case. You measure twice, cut once when you're building a house or something like that. But some things not quite so intuitive. Einstein had to use nonlinear geometry to make his theories work, which means, like, if you think about curves, you think about a globe and how all the longitudes meet at the poles. So you can have an infinite number of lines going through 2 points, whereas in Euclidean geometry, it's just, a line is defined by 2 points. So some mathematics is more elliptical than others. Anyway, the point is that Nick is making is, sometimes you set up these robots or retargeting or algorithms, and they really are done wrong. They're not wrong from a technical, programmatic standpoint, but they're wrong from the way they treat customers. I only go on Amazon if I already am in a private browsing window. Why? Because whatever it is I look at, they retarget me to death. Okay? I have a client that I visited their website once, unguarded, and retargeted for at least 2 weeks. No more. I don't know if they're still, I don't remember it being as bad this year, but the last 2 years beforehand, I get retargeted. I was signed up. I was signed up. Now, there's alternatives that I'd love to talk to you about. Maybe we will. Where you can actually, meter out the ads in a little more measured, sensible way. Take a little more control of it. But that's what algorithms do to you. They make it so, like, I don't ever want to go near Amazon, period. Because it's just too into the retargeting and all that junk. And maybe they're not anymore. That's the sad part. Once you alienate a customer enough with your algorithms, they may never know you fixed it. So keep an eye on it. Place test orders. Do some normal human things, okay? I highly recommend placing test orders often, and you can have your family do it. I used to put it in the bill to clients when I was more detailed. Now we just have a monthly charge. So I do it anyway. Okay? And you want to be hug-worthy, it says. You want to do nice things, right? Maybe a note from the customer. I think pictures. I see a lot of websites that don't have a single picture. It's all product everywhere. It's ugly. It's terrible. So anyway, it's a really good article. Okay? So moving on is something What are the ethics of neuromarketing? What is neuromarketing? That's what I'd like to know. And he doesn't really explain it. He refers to a 2014 book, The Future of the Mind. But I did some background reading on Angry Birds. I saw Angry Birds 2 had an ad up, and I almost installed it. I was actually on a site where they kind of pay you for watching ads. And what I like about it, besides that they pay me, I mean, it's like a fraction of a penny or something. I mean, it's just nothing, but it's something. Okay, but I get this weird smorgasbord. I learned about this battle game where you basically align your troops in formations, and based on the formations and how the troops are able to maneuver, the same number of troops can win or lose a battle. This is a fascinating little game. I may have to try that too. But anyway, I saw a way to invest in value-based films. Like, they had that one, God Is Not Dead, a couple of years ago. That was one. They produced 40 films. And so, they had an ad there that you can invest in it. I don't know if there's any targeting whatsoever, but I like the idea that they're sending me. But anyway, Angry Birds came up. And the author of Angry Birds, the original author, he's from Scandinavia, and he had done over 200 games. And there was all kinds of science behind Angry Birds. There was a pause in there. After you launched the missile and it all fell down, you couldn't just launch another one right away. You had to kind of wait. And there was a pause between games. But once you went to the next one, there was a little bit of a pause, like 3-4 seconds. And apparently that allowed your brain to have like a little mini vacation, and it retained more of the emotion, up and then down a little bit, and then up and then down a little bit. And he tried really hard to make it absolutely addicting. I guess I could say I was pretty addicted to it. So, that's what the marketers are after. They're after something that hypnotizes you into doing what they want. And Scott Adams basically says that the game is over. We've already given up to Google and Facebook and the rest of us. Although I make deliberate moves against it. I use DuckDuckGo as my main search engine, which is, again, supposedly doesn't keep what you're searching for. Although it would be more fun, I think, to have one that says it doesn't keep it and then keeps it. You'd get more interesting results. I just assume somebody's watching no matter what I'm doing, right? God watches. So behave, right? Anyway, so what are the ethics of that? And this article said some consumers say they should, you should be ethical and shouldn't. Everybody who does it says they are ethical. Of course, the unethical ones aren't going to tell you we're unethical. So it's a kind of a stupid article. But it got me thinking. It's a typical AMA thing. Okay. And lastly, I wanted to just say a few words about storytelling. My style is storytelling. I have a recent speech I gave up in Minnesota called Why Mail, and Deb from Japs Olson said she counted the stories in that speech, which wasn't that long. She said there were 33 stories that I presented. Little stories for every point. Every point I made, little bitty story. And so there I did it again. So I'm talking about storytelling, and I'm telling you that I tell stories, and now I told you that Deb counted the stories. That's the story, okay? To emphasize storytelling. This isn't much of an article. It's a terrible article. What it tells you is that you should do storytelling, and if you're not careful, you'll get a corporate initiative to tell stories. You will tell them badly. You will present them weakly, like not strongly, and you'll mismanage the program. I can tell you also that that's a foundation. I'm talking with the oldest cataloger in America this past couple of weeks, and they have a great story. And it doesn't even come across to me, because I'm in there, I'm going down there, I'm in the company, and I look along the wall and I see the story. It's up on the wall. It's not on the website very, very prominently. And that's the key. Get it out of the the history of the company and on to your materials. Get people in your presentations, in all of your materials. Get people talking to the customers, listening to the customers, and don't try to shortcut it with these lame AI solutions. I'm Jeff.